sixth graders and families. My name is Tony Bianco. I'm the interim student minister and middle school student minister here at Houston's First. And I am just so excited that you are going to be in the hub. Can you believe it? Have you been waiting a long time to get into the student ministry? Let me just tell you, the student ministry is full of fun, of growth, and really just an opportunity for you to walk deeper into your relationship with the Lord. Really looking forward to having you here. There are a lot of different things that we do to give you fun opportunities, but as well as some very serious opportunities to dive deeper in your relationship with the Lord. We do camps, we do Bible studies, we do mission trips, we do retreats, we do all kinds of different things. And I'm so excited that you get to be a part of that. During this time, we have some incredible people that are really going to pour into you and just encourage you as sixth graders and parents of sixth graders on what this is going to start to look like now that you have a student in the student ministry. And so our very first guest is our very own Pastor Gregg Dr. Pastor Gregg is going to be walking you through moms and dads and students just some encouragement about having a sixth grader and what it means to be in the student ministry. Take a look.
Hey, Pastor Gregg here. I want to welcome you to the student ministry, to the hub. You made it. You're here. It's amazing. Thanks for connecting with us virtually. Parents, can you believe that little baby is now in the student ministry? Students, can you believe you're here now? It's going to be awesome. So I want to just connect with you and welcome you and tell you how excited we are. Tell you a couple things. First of all, I want to say to the parents, you have done an amazing job. Thank you for putting your kids in church. Thank you for letting them be a part of all that God is doing in our church. We want to take great care of them and to be able to grow them spiritually, socially, emotionally, and just let them just mature into a strong, strong believer in the Lord. You know, as a parent, I'm in a place really similar to where you are, where you're going. We've got a daughter in the student ministry, which is incredible. And we've got a son who's going to college this year. I can't believe it. He's come all the way through the student ministry, and even, you know, our younger ministry with elementary school and all of that. But man, what an amazing thing it's been. It's been such a blessing to our family, and our kids have enjoyed it so much. So parents, I know it's a little scary. I know it's a little different. I want to give you two words: relax and pray. Relax and pray. Take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. You made it through preschool. You made it through kindergarten. You made it through elementary, and now you're coming into a new chapter. You're going to make it. It's going to be okay. Relax and pray. Give your kids over to the Lord and let God do some great things with that. Students, I want to say something to you. You have before you one of the most exciting and important times of your life. This time of being in middle school and then high school is incredible of what God can do in your life. And so you're going to be involved in a lot of different things, but I want you to make a priority of being involved in spiritual things, of what God can do through church. You know, my life was changed at church when I was in high school. So in the student ministry, I actually came to Christ. Somebody invited me to come to their church. I got to their church. There was all these kids there. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And I invested my life in that, and it changed my life. I'm so grateful for just my heart being changed through student ministry. Third thing I want to tell you, so parents, relax and pray. Students, jump in and be excited. It's going to be so fun. And then the third thing I want to tell you for both parents and students is that you would invest in this time. Invest. You know, right now, schedules are down because of COVID and all that, but things are going to open back up. Things are going to get busy again. And man, I just want to encourage you, choose the spiritual things over anything else. Your schedule is going to get tight. You're going to have to drive your kids to drop them off. You're going to have to get here and get there, but be involved. And if you'll invest, you will truly see the difference that this can make in your life long term. Real interesting. My son and I went to dinner with another dad and his son, and we were talking about things, and they were wanting to bless Grayson with graduating from high school. And so they asked, well, what's some advice you would give this other kid who's a little bit younger than Grayson? And Grayson, one of the things he said was this. He said, invest in church. And of course, as a pastor and parent, I'm like, okay, let me see where this goes. Invest in church. He said, I chose to be a part of the things at church over the other involvements I had. I made it a priority, and that made a huge difference in my life. So invest. Make sure it's important. Make sure it's a priority. You kind of get in, you get out of it what you get put into it type of thing. and let the Lord do some great things. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad you're here for one of the biggest life-changing chapters of your life. So welcome to the student ministry.
Wasn't that incredible? Thank you so much, Pastor Gregg. We always love your support of the student ministry and how you are growing your own students here at Houston's First. Well, our very next guest is a very special friend of mine. And let me just tell you, this guy is the top tier in student ministry world. His name is Dr. Richard Ross. He is a seminary professor at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. He's done student ministry for over 50 years. He is absolutely the cutting edge, the leading frontline thought thinker, speaker, presenter, author of student ministry in 2020, and has been for decades. And so I'm really excited, and I'm very fortunate, and we are very thankful that we get to have him sharing and pouring into you, moms and dads and students, during this time. And so we're going to turn it over to him. Hang tight.
Well, families, I just want you to know that it is a real joy to be with you. By the grace of God, I have gotten to be part of this group of rising sixth graders and their parents for several years. And actually being in the room with those people without a pandemic has been a joy. But I'm thrilled that I can still be a part of your life somehow this way. Mom and Dad, I just want to give you this personal word. You've made a lot of good decisions in your life, but the day you decided to join Houston's First Baptist Church, you made a really good decision. And I know that is true in your life. I know what the pastor and the worship means to you, but I'm just wanting you to reflect on the fact today that you got your kids in a wonderful environment to grow up in Christ. And I am thrilled about that for you. I do travel. I'm generally in a different church every Sunday morning. I know lots of churches, and I would just say what's happening for children and teenagers at Houston's First is unique, and it is way above average, and I just want you to celebrate being a part of a fellowship like that. And I want to say this about Brother Tony. He loves your students. We have conversations, you might say, behind your back, and I want you to know that there is true affection for your young people. He wants God's very best for them, and he absolutely gets it related to the family. I'm sorry to say we have student pastors that really think it's them and their talks that are going to make teenagers look like Jesus. Tony is one of those rare individuals that knows that church ministry does matter, but mom and dad matter even more. That makes him want to partner with families to grow these kids up in Christ. And I am really happy that your young people are going to grow up under that kind of leadership. I just want to take a few moments and just share with you a few thoughts. This is really primarily targeted to you parents who have a rising sixth grader who is your eldest child. In other words, this person that has come to this milestone today is the oldest one and your first time to experience this. But also, parents, those of you that have a second or third child coming up today, it could be that a few insights or a few thoughts here and there might even be helpful to you as you rethink how to approach each one of your children. Several quick ideas and we'll be done. The first challenge, the first invitation I want to give to you is this. I want to invite you, both generations, to keep your hearts connected with each other as you enter these teenage years. Now that may sound like something that's sweet and nice. Actually, that is very practical advice. The fact of the matter is, a connection between hearts is absolutely essential for young people to grow up to be really healthy people, and especially people of faith. Mom and Dad, I need to impress this on you. I know your structure, your rules, your leadership, your authority, all of that is valuable, and the kids that don't get those things are in a world of hurt. But on top of all of that has to be layered a relationship. For the next 7 years, it will be the quality, the nature of the relationship that you have with your young person that will determine what kind of influence you have in their lives. I have been working with teenagers for 50 years. I have watched these young people go from 11 or 12 to 18 or 19 100 times. And I'm here to tell you, when a teenager has a heart connection, a relationship with mom and dad, 99% of the time, those teenagers look and smell like wonderful human beings in young adulthood. And when that relationship, that heart connection gets broken and gets twisted, even though mom and dad wish the very best for that young person, usually there is struggle and hardship and disappointment. Yes, there are going to be days with stress and struggle. That's just part of having a teenager. So you have to keep thinking all the time, how are we doing on the relationship? Families, I encourage you to give attention to that every single day. Now, teenagers, it sounds like maybe I'm talking to the adults right now, and maybe I am, but I want to say to you teenagers, the teenage years are going to be a lot happier, a lot more peaceful for you if you keep the relationship with mom and dad. I'll be talking in a few moments about how you want to grow up, and that is all well and good. But even as you're stretching for independence, even in the midst of all of that, if you will keep your heart connected to your parents, life is going to turn out so much better for you. Point number 2. I want to challenge both generations to talk about Jesus at your home. And you might say, well, Brother Richard, don't you know Houston's first? We're church-going people. We're religious people. Why would you need to say that? Well, my experience has been this. Lots of times at home, we do talk about our life at church, and we say lots of good things about our life at church, and we discuss all the things we're involved with, and we might even talk about our religion or whatever word you like to use to describe your faith, and we have conversations about that. And certainly we talk about right and wrong, and you should do this and you shouldn't do this, and the Bible says this. Okay, that's all good. But the most important conversation is Jesus. And I would just say first to the parents, if there's something in you that makes you a little uncomfortable just having a conversation about Jesus, you ought to ask yourself, why is that awkward for me? I'm a child of God. I belong to Him. I'm going to heaven. I gave my heart to Christ. Why would it be awkward to have a conversation where I'm speaking of Him by name? If there's an awkwardness or an uncomfortableness, maybe it's just related to I haven't done that very much. And if that's the issue, just on purpose, start having conversations about Jesus. Mom and Dad, I promise you, teenagers are not very affected by the general subject of religion, as in, oh my goodness, I should not go out and do this bad thing because I'm a religious person. That does not carry much weight. But young people are very influenced about the wonder and the glory and the personality of Jesus. And if you will keep Him as a topic of conversation in your house, you're going to see a teenager grow up in Him more quickly. 6th graders, same thing. Once again, I know you love talking about your church life and your friends at church and things you're going to do with the youth group. Great. Just in the midst of that, keep talking about Jesus. Teenager comes in from camp, first thing mom and dad are going to say is, well, what'd you learn this week? Okay, that's interesting, but it's not nearly as important as what happened between you and Jesus this week. Keep the focus on Jesus. Number 3, be gentle with each other. Be gentle with each other. I'm talking about the generations as emotional independence begins. Be gentle as emotional independence begins. Mom and Dad, if this is your eldest especially, you love your kids like life itself. You want to hold on to them. You love the closeness that you share. And our human tendency as parents would be to just keep smothering them until they're 19 years of age. But if we did, we would end up with an emotional cripple, completely ill-prepared to begin adult life. The kids instinctively know I need to start pushing back a little bit on that smothering. I've got to develop the ability to be my own person a little bit more. I need a little bit more time by myself. I need to have a little bit more of a life outside the house. That's instinctive for teenagers. It's not sinful. It's not Satan. That is something God has just built in within them. Mom and Dad, that is not a rejection of you. If they are not wanting to sit close beside you on the couch for 3 hours of television every evening like they used to, that does not mean something's wrong with your relationship. It simply means that they are trying their best to figure out how to become a young adult. If they want to spend a little bit more time in a bedroom where they were always around you, it does not necessarily mean they're smoking dope or contemplating suicide. It just may mean I need a little bit more time for me to become the person that I'm becoming. Mom and Dad, if you will not take that personally, if you will not take that as an affront to you, then you're less likely to blow up and do something mean simply because your feelings are hurt. You'll recognize it as a normal part of life and you'll roll with it. Now, 6th graders, if you begin to feel, I do need to be a little bit more my own person, I do need a little bit more of a life that's just sort of me, I would ask you, don't be mean about it. In fact, it might even be well to put what's going on inside you in words and simply say, Mom, Dad, I don't hate you, I don't dislike you, I'm not thinking about doing bad things, I just need a little bit more ... And just explain what you think is going inside. If you guys, both generations, will not be mean to each other, if you won't blow up at each other, what you're going to do is save all kinds of pain that actually most families go through, because they have no idea what's going on as a teenager is moving toward independence. I just wish your family wouldn't have to go through that. Number 4, give believable encouragement both ways. Believable encouragement. Mom and Dad, you first. You're going to talk about negative things to raise a teenager. You know you are. In fact, you've been doing it for 11 or 12 years already. Don't do this, do better, stop that. That's just part of life, and actually a lot of that has to be done. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I would ask you to balance the criticisms with something encouraging. We get in habits, and because we're moving fast these days, and because, life in the house is a little stressful, let's just all admit that. If we're moving fast anyway, and life is a little stressful anyway, we just get into habits. Would you stop that? Would you pick that up? Don't hit your brother, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And we can go days where it is a constant barrage of criticisms and negatives, and here's all the ways you disappoint me, and not anywhere in there is, I believe in you. You're a great kid. I think you're going to become a remarkable adult someday. Mom and Dad, let me just make sure it's on your radar to encourage 6th graders. Anybody on earth will tell you 6th, 7th, and 8th grade is one of the toughest periods of an entire life. You're struggling so hard to figure out who you are and where you fit in the world. And if all you hear is criticism, it is crushing. Teachers at school are busy. Friends are friends. a lot of criticism from friends. So who's going to build the kid up? Primarily, it's going to be you. 6th graders, I'm going to say this to you. Your mom and dad are trying their best to be good parents. They wouldn't even be part of this event right now if they weren't trying their best to be good parents. Whoever tells your mom and dad that they're doing a great job being a mom and dad? Almost no one. Almost no one on God's green earth is going to tell your parents that they're doing well. And yet this is something they want to do well at as much as anything on earth. 6th graders, get good at giving your parents compliments, believable compliments. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying they make you pleased every single time, but I'm just saying keep it on your radar. When I see my mom and dad doing things to make a sacrifice for me, when they are knocking themselves out to open a door for me, when they're working hard to give me some extra advantage or activity or something in life, tell them. Tell them you appreciate what they're doing for you, and then both generations are going to get a blessing out of that. Next, make showing respect a non-negotiable. Make showing respect a non-negotiable. Now, I've already said it is built in that there's going to be some stress during the teenage years. Everyone will acknowledge that. So, since there are going to be days that people are not going to be happy in the house, and there will be days that people are going to speak a little bit louder than they usually speak, and people are going to be behind closed doors a little bit more than they usually are. That's just sort of part of life. What you've got to decide, though, is even while we're working through hard things, awkward things, stressful things, in the midst of all of that, we're going to make it a rule that nobody violates, that we're going to show basic respect toward each other. Now, Mom and Dad, I'm going to give you part of my understanding of great parenting. I think when something's going on inside a teenager, something that has made them very unhappy for whatever reason, they think they're being treated unfairly, or that one sibling's getting something they're not getting, or that some rule is unreasonable, whatever's going on inside a kid that makes him feel like this is unjust. I think there's an advantage in letting them say that out loud. If they don't say it out loud, it seethes inside of them, it rots, it turns putrid, and when it finally does come out, it's really, really going to be unpleasant and usually destructive. So I think it's well to say, hey, I can tell you're really upset about this. I'm going to listen to you. Tell me what you think is unfair. I am going to stand here and I'm going to listen to you, but you may not speak to me in a disrespectful voice. It is impossible. If you will speak with basic respect, I will listen to you describe what you think is wrong. Now, Mom and Dad, why am I pressing for basic respect? We know it's an absolute fact. If a teenager does not learn to respect Mom and Dad, they're simply going to carry that into the other pieces of their lives. They're going to disrespect the substitute teacher. And if that works, they're going to disrespect the classroom teacher. If that works, they're going to disrespect the principal. If that works, they're going to disrespect the superintendent. If that works, they're going to disrespect the policeman. If that works, they're going to disrespect the judge. If that works, they're going to disrespect the warden. And then they're going to discover, I can't disrespect him. But by then, it's too late. So we begin at the very beginning, showing of basic respect, something that is absolutely firm and in place. Even when people are unhappy, even when you're having discussions that are a little bit heated, nobody gets to speak in a disrespectful way. Now, Mom and Dad, I would ask you to show the same thing toward your teenager. Now, that does not mean they're right. That does not mean they are even going to win the argument. You always have the last word. But even though you are the authority and you have the last word, I would say to you, it is to your advantage to speak in a respectful voice. For one thing, it's going to make healing come more quickly. You're not building up anger and resentment that blows up over time. So just both generations decide that. Just say, okay, even when we don't agree around here, we're going to speak to each other with respect. Next, I want to just suggest that you give careful thought how to balance time outside the home. Now, this is crazy right now in the midst of a pandemic, but there will be a day that we are all vaccinated and life sort of looks normal. And at that point, the full flurry of activity will begin again. Mom and Dad, I believe in extracurricular activities. I think for the most part, extracurriculars help us build better kids. And that was the goal in the first place. Doesn't matter if it's athletics or the arts or academics or all kinds of things kids can do outside of class. I think it's a good thing. What you have to be careful, though, with is balance. If a teenager is involved in so many activities that they are never home, if evenings are a flurry of dance and play practices and rehearsals and two-a-day workouts, and you guys are never seeing each other and food is just thrown on a bar for people to grab, you're not at that moment using extracurriculars to build a kid, you're using extracurriculars to undo a kid, and I can give you the research. You're not doing your child a favor, you are harming them by so stressing family life that the good that was supposed to come through family life never happens. Balance is all I'm calling for. Just look at your evenings. And once again, after pandemic, just look at your evenings. Are you sitting at a table, not watching TV? Are you sitting at a table, eating a meal, laughing, telling the funny stories of the day? Are you doing that, or are you not doing that? One of the reasons I'm pressing on that issue is research says 5 or more dinners a week with your family, lower incidences of suicide, less sexual promiscuity, less depression, and even better grades in school. All that related to dinners with the family. I'm asking you, are you getting that? Are you enjoying some evening time, quiet conversations, watching something together? That is part of building a family that actually produces great young adults for the future. Parents, you've got to watch your activities too. Mom, you might have to decide for this short period of time, you're going to step down from being secretary treasurer of the local Poodle Breeders Association, even though that has been so important to you in the past. You might just say, for the sake of my kids, I'm going to simplify my evening because we're going to connect as a family. You do that, and what you're going to discover is your kids are just prospering in ways that some of the kids in the community are not prospering. Finally, I just want to invite you and challenge you to give attention to church schedules. This is really an issue in the year 2020. Once again, I'm thinking after pandemic. Of course, everything's crazy right now. But Mom and Dad, here's the deal. One of the 10 commandments is honoring the Sabbath. Christian Sabbath, celebrating the resurrection, is Sunday. And it is one of the 10 commandments right beside adultery and murder. It is a commandment to honor and respect the Sabbath. Once again, I believe in extracurriculars, but how could it ever be the will of God that church kids, Christian kids that belong to Jesus, are in sports and tournaments on a Sunday morning? Now, I know the activities are enticing, and I know sometimes we think this is my way to get that college scholarship, to get this kid a full ride to university. I know the human factors involved, but we could come up with human reasons why we ought to violate each of the 10 commandments if we wanted to. I'm not just saying this in a legalistic sort of way. I'm really saying this to you because God invented the 10 commandments to build great followers of Christ and just great people, period. And your teenager is going to be a great person and a great follower of Christ if for 7 years that teenager has respected the Sabbath and has been part of worship and Bible study and Christian fellowship and service and all these things that are central to the Christian life. I just want to make a comment about family outings. I absolutely think that, a couple of times out of the year, your family ought to go on vacation, go somewhere crazy, go to the mountains, go to the beach. I would think on Sunday morning it ought to be at least a possibility that you duck into a local church wherever you are. I think that could be a sweet and precious thing. But certainly we've got freedom to take our families and go places. But I do think we have to be very, very careful about repeatedly, all during the year, pulling a teenager out. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do this. We're going to do this. I will tell you, as a student pastor for 30 years, the teenagers that I had to go visit in their homes who had lost interest in coming, now the parents were horrified because they couldn't get the kid up on Sunday morning. In so many cases, that was a teenager that, because of the family, had started a process of missing. And now the youth group didn't even feel like family to that teenager. Now they felt like a stranger in their church half the time. And now parents were distraught because they couldn't get their kid to go with them on Sundays. It is an advantage for families to honor the Sabbath, be together in worship, in Bible study, to experience that as a family the vast majority of the Sundays of the year, and I would really call you in that direction. Now, I want to invite you to do something that I pray will be a blessing to you. You're probably seated right now. I'm just going to ask these rising sixth graders, would you just stand up wherever you are? Would you just stand up right now? I want you just to stand up. Now, I don't know exactly what the seating situation is right where you are, but somehow, some way, sixth graders, would you walk behind one of your parents? If you have two parents, just walk around behind them. Maybe somebody will have to change seats or scoot a little bit. But right now, sixth graders, would you get behind a parent? Give you just a second to do that. When you get behind a parent, I want you to take your hands and I want you to put your hands on the shoulders of the parent that's in front of you. Would you just put your hands on them just like this? Okay, sixth graders, this is what I want you to do. In a few moments, I want you to say an out loud prayer. I want you to pray out loud, thanking God for this parent. I want you to thank God for them your own way. You can tell God some things that you're thankful for this parent. Would you do that? Now, as soon as you pray for this parent out loud, right then, I just want you to go walking. If you have two parents, I want you to walk over to the other parent. I want you to put your hands on them and pray for them. Now, I'll not be giving you instructions about a second parent, so I want you to do that on your own. Pray for one parent, and then I want you to go pray for the other parent. When you have prayed for the second parent, then you come back and take your original seat. Just come back to your seat, and then we will continue with the session. Young people, sixth graders, you know kind of what you're going to say. I want you to pray out loud where your parent can hear your prayer. Pray for them right now, and then we'll begin again in a few moments.
Come now, fount of every blessing. Tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing. Call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mount I'm fixed upon it, Mount of God's unchanging love.
Parents, I hope that was a blessing to you to hear the voices of your children. I think it's much like the voices of an angel myself, but it's a blessing that the kids would pray over us. Parents, I want you to do something right now. Parents, if you don't mind, would you just stand up wherever you are? Would you just stand up? And in exactly the same way, would you walk around behind your rising sixth grader? Would you just stand behind them, scooting if you need to, just get behind them? Same thing, parents, would you put your hands on their shoulder? Now, if there's two parents and one sixth grader, one parent can just step to the side there. We'll take turns here. But same thing, parents, I want you to pray out loud over this precious sixth grader. I want you just to pray a prayer of blessing. I want you to dedicate them to God. If it is two parents and one sixth grader, obviously one parent's going to pray and then the other one step in and pray. If you have other children that are with you right now, certainly we want to pray for all of them. Pray for the sixth grader first, of course, but if you have other children, please just go around and pray until everyone gets a prayer of blessing. And then parents, when you have prayed for each of yours, again, just come back and take your original seat, and then we'll be able to continue.
Here I raise my Ebenezer. Hither by thy help I've come, and I hope by thy good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Jesus sought me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God, he to rescue me from danger, interposed his precious blood.
Parents, sixth graders, it has been a joy to be with you. I wish I could have been in a room with you, but you have detected my heart. You know that I love you and I care about what is going to happen in the future. I close with this. At high school graduation, about half of the kids of the church leave the church and never come back. About half of the kids of the church stay active, love Jesus, serve Christ through the church the rest of their lives. What we're talking about in this session today is making a major contribution to the possibility that the kids out of these homes are going to be in that half that stay and walk in faith all of their lives. I say, God bless you. Look forward to seeing you before the throne of heaven someday.
Moms and dads, sixth graders, I hope that time that you had praying over one another was as sweet as it could have been. It's one of my most favorite moments. This is something that we've done every year for the last 8 years here at Houston's First in our 6th grade classes and as part of our Welcome to the Hub. And so I'm so glad that you guys had that opportunity to do that in your home or wherever you may be watching this. And so thankful for that opportunity. Well, we are excited about bringing your student into the student ministry, and what that means is that your student is going to be a part of a small group. Now, our 6th grade department at 9:15 or 10:45 or at 6:30 are ready to connect with you and your student. And so we have given those leaders, our small group leaders, your information, moms and dads, as well as your students' informations, and they're going to be reaching out in the next week or so to connect and to introduce themselves and for them to be able to begin forming a relationship not only with you parents, but also with you students. And so that is coming soon, and so we're excited about that. On a Sunday morning, when we come back here during this season that we're in, your students are going to be a part of large groups of middle schoolers, of 6th graders, of 7th graders, of 8th graders. And we're going to be able to do some large group discipleship together with some of our middle school leaders, our 6th grade leaders, as well as our 7th and 8th grade leaders. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be an incredible opportunity. On a normal circumstances, and hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll be able to actually gather back again in small groups, where that small group leader who's reaching out to you is going to be continuing to reach out to you, as well as be here each and every Sunday to walk through Scripture and pour into you in that way and help you cultivate that community that you have with your peers, but also that relationship that we're forming with you and your relationship with the Lord. And so moms and dads, hear me. We want to support you in all that we do. And so we want to come alongside. And so one of the best ways that we can do that is for you to reach out and communicate to us as staff, but also to your student small group leaders. The other thing is you've also, moms and dads, been added to a brand new email. You're going to start getting that this next week after Promotion Sunday, where we are sending out details and information about things that are going on in our student ministry. And so lots of fun things. And in that email, we have a section called the Parent Portal. That Parent Portal is a section that is for you, moms and dads. It has got our Life Bible Study discussion questions. So questions from your students' Life Bible Study the Sunday before for you to be able to have those conversations at home and to follow up or encourage your student to watch online if you're still at home online. You're also in that section going to be getting some resources, some different tips or tricks or things to know about student culture and things that are going on right now. And so we're doing our best as a student ministry to equip you and to resource you in that way. On Wednesdays, online or in person here this fall, depending on the time of the year, we're going to offer some milestone classes. Each and every Wednesday night, we have discipleship classes for moms and dads of students. And so it's an opportunity for you to come and get equipped and sharpen some of those tools in your tool belt, moms and dads, on what it's like to parent a teenager and some of those different things that are going on culturally in their world that we want you to be aware of, as well as to help you to minister and disciple them at home better. So lots of things out there. So that's for moms and dads. Well, we got one more thing for our students. And so we have got an incredible gift for our students. On Sunday, August 23rd, the first Sunday that we're offering in-person worship again, on Sunday, August 23rd, we want to encourage you to come and pick up. You don't have to stay for worship if you don't like, but we are going to have a gift for your 6th grader. We're going to have a Welcome to the Hub box, and we're excited about this box because it's going to equip you 6th graders with all the things you need to get started in the student ministry. Things like a brand new water bottle, because you're going to need one of those for school. Also a Hub t-shirt that is not yet released yet. And so that's going to be in there. We're also going to have some stickers and some different things like that represent our student ministry so you can represent us in your school wherever you may be. And for you moms and dads, there's a little something in there for you. We have something in there called a quick start guide, which is some information about the student ministry and what that looks like and some of those main things that we want you to know about. And on top of that box, we've also got something for our 6th graders. We want to always equip our students and put them on the best path and the easiest path forward. And so one of the ways that we want to do that is to equip you and give you the best possible thing to set you up for success here in middle school, in student ministry, as you enter adolescence. We want to give you an age-appropriate Bible. That's right, an age-appropriate Bible. And so we've got you an ESV Student Study Bible ready for you to come and pick up. We have a variety of colors and things like that for the covers, but we want you to have an age-appropriate Bible. So as you enter middle school, as you start coming to Wired, as you start coming to Bible studies, you have one that is made for you because you are now a student. You are now in the student ministry. And so we want to encourage you and give you that. And so on Sunday, August 23rd, we're going to have a box full of goodies and swag and all the fun things, as well as students, you're going to be able to pick out a Bible for you to take and for that to be yours as you go through student ministry. And so we are so excited about you being a part of this. One more thing I just want to encourage is moms and dads, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please email, please reach out to us. I want to hear from you. Our staff wants to hear from you. We want to help you because we're here to partner with you as you disciple your student. And so we thank you so much. Students, we're looking forward to hanging out with you. And man, it's going to be an incredible opportunity. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with me tonight or today or wherever you're watching. Thanks again. Looking forward to seeing you in person on Sunday, August 23rd.